Hi guys, good morning everyone. Let's get started. So if we take our previous sessions, we are getting understanding about like how exactly we can get work with the text boxes, and at the same time how exactly we can get work with the buttons, right? I mean handling with the text boxes and then handling with the buttons, and which we are understanding about different kind of the stages, right? And understanding about with the wait statement, and which we will be taking with the exception handling, right? Now, in a similar manner, we need to begin to understand about reading with the data from the text box here. Okay, sometimes there may be a possibility which it will be having with the requirement to get, okay, you will be having with the requirement to read with the data here. Okay, that means here whenever we are taking with the read activity, which it will be having different kind of scenarios. Okay, if I'm taking with the read activity, which it will be having different kind of the scenarios here. Okay, in that, okay, in that one is reading with the data from the text box. Okay, so one will be mentioning that reading with the data from the text box here. Another one is reading with the data from the web table. Okay, so one will be mentioning that reading with the data from the text box, and one will be mentioning that reading with the data from the web table. Okay, reading with the data from the web table, and one will be mentioning that reading with the data from the Excel. Okay, so which it will be mentioning that reading with the data from the Excel, and then reading with the data from database, and reading with the data from the PDF file. Okay, so if I'm taking with the read activity, okay? So whenever you're taking with the read activity, which it will be having with the different kind of options here. So one, it will be mentioning that reading with the data from text box, and reading the data from the web table, and reading with the data from Excel, and reading the data from database, and reading with the data from the PDF file here. Okay, now in a similar manner, we need to be get understand on it. Okay, first we'll get understand on it how we can read with the data from the text box. After that, we'll be taking with the remaining things here. Okay, right, let's look into this. Now let's get understand about how we can read data from text box here. We need to be understood how we can read with the data from the text box. So for that, let me take with the scenario here. Okay, so what exactly the scenario need to be followed here? So if I'm taking with the scenario need to be followed to read with the data from the text boxes, let me get open with the application here. Okay, first we'll get open with the application, and which will be taking with the login activity. Once login has been done, I will be getting with the add button here. Once you click on the add button, it will be giving an add employee form. From the add employee form, it will be having with the employee ID will be available. We need to be get read with the data. Okay, now we can see here. Let me get open it. Okay, now we can see here. First, you are taking with the home page, right? First, you will be taking with the opening with the application. Then you will be taking with the login activity. Once login has been completed, okay. So once login has been completed, we need to be click on the add button. Once you have been click on the add button, it will be getting with the employee code. Okay, Once you have been click on the add button, it will be getting with the employee code. We need to be read with the data from this employee code here. Nothing but we need to be read with the data from this particular text box here. Okay, right. Now let's get design an object how we can read with the data from this particular text box here. Okay. For that, whenever you want to be read with the data from the text box, you will be taking with the help of the read stage here. Okay, so while working with the Blue Prism, by default you will be taking with the help of the stage that you will be taking with the help of the read stage here. So if I'm taking with the read stage, which is used to read with the data from the text box here. Okay, now we can see here how exactly we can utilize this. First, let me get create with the one object here. Okay, so let me get created with the one particular object here. So first, it will be creating with the object, mentioning the create object, which you will be mentioning that read underscore. It will be taking with the text box here. Okay, right. Click on the next button and clicking on the finish activity. Okay, let's take with the double click on it. Fine. Now we can see here, it will be taking with the rename, which it will be taking with the rename here. Okay, so we'll be taking with the rename here. Now this is which it will be mentioning with the activity that it will be mentioning read underscore. It will be taking with the text box here. Okay, now we can see. So first we need to be take with the help of the application modular, right? To get interact with the application, we require with the application modular. We need to be take with the help of application modular. Okay, now we can see here. We are taking with the help of application modular and clicking on the next button. Okay, which will be clicking on the next button, then taking with the browser based application, which you will be taking with the help of browser based application, and click on the next button, mentioning that browser already need to be get open from executable file, and then clicking on the next button. Okay, now need to be provide with the application URL. Let me provide with the application URL here. Let's get provide application URL, clicking on the next button and then click on finish here. Okay, now by default you will be getting with the option is launch. We need to be click on the launch button. Once you click on the launch button, it's need to be get open that respective browser and application here. Right, fine. So now we need to be take with the spying of all the elements according to the standards. First we need to be take with the page name that it will be taking with the login page here. Now click on identify. You will be clicking on identify, and which you will be taking with the whole page. Whatever this whole page is there, you need to be get spy with the whole page here. Okay, which you will be taking with the whole page. Click on highlight, getting highlighting it here. Okay, apply. And after this, it will be taking with the elements in that, right? So which it will be taking with the elements in that. So for that, it will be taking with the identify, and then it will be taking it username text box here. Now you will be taking with the control left click, and which it will be clicking on highlight. It will be getting highlighting it. Okay, fine. Now this is which you will be taking with the text box, right? It will be taking with the text box, taking with the text box hyphen, which you will be taking with the login name. Then again, it will be getting added with the one more element, taking with the one more element, mentioning that text box hyphen, it will be taking with the password. Click on identify, which you will be taking with the password here. Okay. Now here, which you will be taking with the highlight, highlighting it here. Apply. Okay. Next, we required with the one more button, which you will be taking with the button that you will be taking with the add here. Okay. Then click on identify, which you will be taking with the login button. So here, which you will be taking with the highlight, which it will be taking with the login button here. Right? Fine. Next, you will be taking with the login, right? Which you will be taking with the login. You will be taking with the login activity. Now here, once we're done with the login, again we need to get highlight with the whole page here. So for that, you will be taking with the home page. Clicking on add element, which you will be mentioning with the home page here. Now click on identify, which you will be taking with the whole page here. Let's get identify the whole page. Okay. Click on apply. Now under the home page, you will be taking that respective elements here. So that we need to be click on this add button. So for that, we need to be identify this add button, taking with the identify and then taking with the add button. You will be taking control left click, which you will be taking with the highlight. Now it is giving an error. Okay. So whenever it was giving an error, we need to try with the different techniques here, right? So until unless it is getting highlighting it, fine. Until unless it is getting highlighting it, we don't have any issues here, right? So in case if it is not highlighting it, if it is giving an error, then we need to understand how exactly we can highlight that part here. Okay, now we can see here the very first technique. Okay, the very first technique is we need to take with the uncheck of all the check boxes. Okay, the very first technique is we need to take with the uncheck of all the check boxes here. Okay, now we can see here making with the uncheck of all the check boxes here. So we'll be taking it, which it will be taking uncheck of all the check boxes here. Right. So now let me try on it. Clicking on highlight, but still it is giving an error. The first technique is we done with the uncheck of all the blank values. It is not working. Then it will be taking with the another option is match index, which you will be taking with the match index, and you will be clicking on highlight, but now still it is not working. Now in case match index is not working, you will be trying with the match reverse. Again click on highlight, it is not getting highlighting it. Okay, so which it is not getting highlighting it. Okay, right. So match index is not working and match reverse is not working. Then you will be taking with the x comma y values. Let's get added x comma y values. Click on highlight. Okay, now still it is not getting highlighting it, giving an error. Now if we look into the technique, what are all the techniques we tried it? First we tried taking with the uncheck of the blank values, not working. Next we tried with the option of match index, match reverse, x comma y values. So still it is not working it. Then the last, another option is it will be taking with the uncheck of all the check boxes, right? So taking with the uncheck of all the check boxes, and then we need to be take with the work with the unique attributes. The very first attribute we need to be try is ID. So if I'm taking with the ID attribute, we are able to see with the ID attribute, but we don't have any value, right? We are able to see with the ID attribute, but we don't have any value here. That means we cannot work it. Then we need to be try with the name attribute. Let me search with the name attribute. Now if we see here, we don't have any name attribute here. So we tried with the ID name. After that, it will be taking with the value. most of the time, if I'm taking with the web applications, value will become in a unique attribute which you will be taking with the value. Now you can click on highlight. Now we'll see whether it is getting highlighting or not. Okay, we need to be wait until it is getting highlighting it, or it's need to be get provided an error. Now which it is getting highlighting it. Okay, so this is button, right? Which you are taking, it is a button. I will be mentioning that button hyphen. I will be taking with the add here. Okay, and after that, once you have been click on the add button, okay, once you have been click on the add button, you're getting with the one more add employee page. This is add employee sub page, right? So to make it very clear, let me take that particular sub page also. You will be taking add element, clicking on identify, which you will be taking this particular page. You will be taking control left click, which you will be taking with the control left click, that you will be taking with the add employee page, which it will be taking with the add employee page here. Okay, now click on identify. Sorry, add employee page, right? Click on highlight. Now it is getting highlighting it. Okay, now from the add employee page, it will be taking with the respective element, that it will be taking with the text box here, which it will be taking with the text box hyphen, that it will be mentioning that employee code. Okay, so we'll be mentioning the text box hyphen, which you will be taking with the employee code here. Now click on identify. Okay, which you will be clicking on the identify, that you will be taking with the last name, employee code, which you will be taking with the employee code, that you will be taking with the control left click here, which you will be taking with the control left click, you will be taking with the highlight. Now getting highlighting it, and after that we need to be take with the logout. Logout is related to home page, right? So let's take with the add element, that is a option, which you will be taking with the option hyphen, you will be taking with the logout. Click on identify, which you will be taking with the logout here. Okay, now you can click on highlight, getting highlighting it. Okay, right, now you will be taking with the apply here. Right, so now related to our requirement. Okay, so related to the requirement, whatever the elements we have been required, which we have been taken that particular elements here, right? Fine. Okay, let's take with the okay. Right, now we need to be get started with the designing with the object here. So to design with the object, by default it will be getting with the start. Okay, and after that it will be getting with the end. So start, it has been used to start with the execution, and it will be taking with the stopping with the execution here. Okay, now what is the first step need to be done? We need to be get open with the application. So to get open with the application, it will be taking with the help of the navigate stage, right? Now let's take with the help of navigate stage. Perform double click on it, which it will be mentioning that open application. Okay, it will be mentioning that open application. Now it will be taking with the main root node, which you will be taking with the main root node here. Okay, it will be taking with the option is launch, right? Okay, next, once we are opening with the application, it will take some time to get open application, right? So for that, it will be taking with the wait statement here, and while working with the wait statement, it will be getting two type of wait here, right? One it will be taking with the static wait, and one it will be taking with the dynamic wait. Okay, so one it will be taking with the static wait, and one you will be taking with the dynamic wait here. Okay, so if I'm taking with the static wait, okay, so if I'm taking with the static wait, mentioning that waiting until the whole time has to be completed. If I'm taking with the dynamic wait, which it will be mentioning that wait until the particular condition has to be completed here. Okay, let me take with the dynamic wait. It's need to be wait until text box has to be available. Okay, it's need to be wait until text box has to be available. In case of text boxes exist, okay, in case of text boxes exist, then it's need to be perform the click activity. Okay, so in case of the text boxes exist, then it's need to be perform the click activity. Right. Now assume that in case of the text boxes exist, then it has to be continue typing with the data into the text box. In case of text box is not available, then it has to be throw an exception. Right? If text box is exist, continuing it typing with the data. In case of text box is not exist, then it has to be throw an error. So previously we discussed about with the exception handling. So to get implement with the exception handling, it will be taking with the help of the different stages. In that one, it will be taking with the exception to throw an exception here, and one you will be taking recover to recover any exception window, and one you will be taking resume to take with the resume activity. Now we can see here, for now we have to be throw an exception, and again while throwing an exception sorry, while throwing an exception, which you will be getting with the different types here, right? So to throw an exception, you will be getting with the different types here. In that, one you will be taking with the predefined exception, and one you will be taking with the user defined exception. Okay, so one you will be taking with the predefined exception, and one you will be taking with the user defined exception here. Predefined exceptions defined by the tool. Okay, predefined exception means already defined by the tool. User defined exceptions defined by the user. Okay, so if I'm taking with the predefined exceptions, mentioning that defined by the tool, user defined exceptions defined by the user. Now we are taking our own exception message here. Let's take with the double click on it, and then it will be taken with the exception type. Okay, which you will be mentioning the login page. This is related to the login page, which it will be mentioning related to login page. Now here you will be taking with the exception detail here. Okay, you will be mentioning with the exception detail. So what are the exception detail you will be mentioning it? So mentioning the username text box not displayed. Okay, mentioning the username text box not displayed. Okay, right. Now we can see how we are applying with the all the required concepts here. Okay, now right. So in case if text box is available, then it has to be type the data in the text box, right? For that it will be taking with the help of the right stage. So it is taking with the right stage, which it will be typing with the username. First we need to begin type with the username, type underscore username here. Now here it will be taking with the admin, and then it will be taking with the login name, which you will be taking that respective login name. Okay, next we need to be type with the password also. Again you will be mentioning that, which you will be taking with the type underscore password. You will be taking with the password here, which you will be taking with the password. Then you will be taking with the password is admin. Okay, and after that we need to be take with the click activity. So to perform the click activity, it will be taking with the help of the navigate stage. Perform double click on it. It will be mentioning that click underscore login. Now you will be taking with the click, that is login. are not taken login button. No? I think this is login button. By mistake, we given add. Okay. Now let me take with the click center. So this is login button only. Let me see that. Click on highlight. Okay, that is login. Which I will be mentioning login. Okay, apply. Okay, fine. Now if I'm taking with the navigate, here you will be mentioning that click underscore, you will be taking login, you will be taking with the button login here. Okay. Then you will be taking with the click center. Right, now you will be taking with the okay, right. So once you have been click on the login button, it will take some time to load in a page, right? So once you have been click on the login button, it will be taking some time to load in a page here. So for that, which you will be taking with the help of the sleep statement here, that you will be taking action. Okay, either we can take with the wait statement or we can take with the help of sleep statement. So for now, let me take with the help of the sleep here. So that it will be taking business object. The business object it will be using is utility-general. It will be taking utility-general and which it will be taking with the sleep here. That it will be taking with the 2 seconds here. Okay. And after that, once we done with the login, next we need to be click on add button. So to take with the click activity, again you will be taking navigate stage. So perform double click on it, which you will be mentioning that click underscore add. Okay, which you will be mentioning that click underscore add. Now we'll be taking with the add button. It will be taking with the add button, which it will be taking with the click center. Okay, it will be taking click center. Okay, once you click on add button, it will take some time to load in a page, right? So that it will be taking with the sleep statement, which it will be taking with the wait here. Okay. So once the add employee form has been displayed, now we need to be take with the read activity. So to perform the read activity, okay, to perform the read activity, it will be taking with the help of the read stage here. Now we can see here, previously we are working with the write stage to enter the data. Now we are taking with the read stage to read with the data here. Okay. Perform double click on it, which I will be mentioning that read underscore, it will be taking employee code. Okay, now from where we have to be read it, already we identified the text box, right, which you will be taking that respective text box here. Okay, so here, okay, so here which you will be taking with the get current value. By default, it will be getting with the built-in option. Okay, so by default it will be getting with the built-in option that it will be taking with the get current value, which it will be taking with the get current value here. If I'm taking with the get current value, okay, so if I'm taking with the get current value, which it will be taking that respective data type, then it will be asking with the store in data item. Okay, so which it is getting asking with the store in data item. That means it was retrieving with the data from that particular text box and it's need to be get stored here. Okay, so retrieving with the data from the text box and need to be get stored here. So to get stored, you will be taking with the store in data item that you will be mentioning that result underscore, you will be taking with the employee code here. Okay, which it will be mentioning that result underscore, you will be taking with the employee code here. Okay, now it will be taking with the okay, which it will be taking with that respective data item here. Right, fine. Okay, and once you're done with the read activity, next we need to be click on the logout. That is a click activity. So to perform the click activity, it will be taking with the help of the navigate stage, which it will be mentioning that click underscore logout. Now it will be taking with the logout option, which it will be mentioning it click center. It will be taking click center and click on OK. And after that, we need to be close an application. To close application also, it will be taking with the help of the navigate stage, which it will be mentioning that close application here. Okay. Now again, for to close an application, it will be taking with the main root node and it will be taking with the option is terminate, which it will be taking with the option is terminate and it will be clicking on OK. Right. So we'll be taking with the option is terminate and which it will be clicking on OK. And after that, we need to be take with the end activity. So which we need to be take with the end activity here. Okay. Now we can see here. Let's take with the connectivities here. First, starting with the execution, getting opening with the application, waiting it. In case of text box is available, it will be typing with the data, otherwise throwing an exception. Typing with the password, clicking on the login button, taking with the save activity and then add, okay, which you will be taking with the add and then it will be taking it, which you will be taking, reading it, then performing with the logout and after that it will be taking close application and then end activity, which it will be taking with the end activity. Okay. Now I'm taking with the reset, which you will be taking with the reset and then you will be closing it and let's run it. Now we can see here. If I'm taking reset, if I refer the supply code date item, there is no data here. Now if I'm executing it, it's need to be get read with the data from that perspective text box and that particular data need to be get stored into this respective data item. Okay, fine. Now we can see here. Let's take with the reset and then it will be taking run activity. Okay, so which it will be taking with the reset and then it will be taking with the run activity. Okay, now let's click on this run. Okay, opening with the application, taking with the login activity. Okay, once it's done with the login, now it's need to be click on add button. Just giving it. Just a second. Just a second, guys. Let me. Ah, now let me try once again. So the issue is it's not like our design. Okay, the issue we are getting with the application. Let me try once again. Just a second, guys. Now let me get executed now. Okay, so that is the issue with that antivirus only. Let me try it now. Okay, now we can see here it is getting clicking on the add button. Now it was reading with the data. Okay, so 0348, right? Now we can see here. So if we look into this, you are able to see whether the data got retrieved 0348. Okay, so this is what which it will be mentioning, that reading with the data from the text box here. So in a text box, whatever the data is available, which you are able to read with the data from the text box here. Okay, so clear about this reading with the data from the text box here, right? Okay. So now next we need to be get understand about reading with the data from the web table here. Okay. So before going to the web table, need to be get understand about with the mouse over activities here. Okay. So whenever we are working with the Blue Prism or while working with the application. Okay. So if I'm taking with the Blue Prism, or generally if we take with the application, till now we are getting understanding about working with the text boxes, working with the buttons. In a similar manner, we need to be get understand how we can perform the mouse over activities. Okay, so if I'm taking with the mouse over activities, what exactly mean by this mouse over activities means, let's take an application here. Okay, so here first we are getting opening with the application. Once application got open, you are taking with the login activity. Okay, which you will be taking with the login activity, right? Now, once we're done with the login, now we can see here, I am moving the cursor. Once I am moving the cursor to the PIM, then it is giving that respective option. I'm not performing any click activity. Okay, I'm not performing any click activity, just I'm moving the cursor to the PIM, then it is giving that respective option. Let's take another scenario here. I'm moving the cursor to the leave, giving the respective option. Again, I'm moving the cursor to the leave summary, which it is giving with the some more option. After that, I need to be click on this employee leave summary. So performing with the click activity will be the common scenario, but need to be get understand how we can perform this mouse over activities here. Now, if I'm taking with it the manual activity, what is the manual activity we are doing? Whatever the cursor is there, cursor is available in somewhere, we are moving the cursor. Okay, whatever this cursor is there, so we are moving the cursor to the PIM here. Once we are moving the cursor to the PIM, then it will be giving with the respective options here. So for that, what we need to be do is, let's get understand on it, how we can perform those activities here. Okay, so now let's get understand on it, how we can perform those activities. So for that, if we take our previous scenarios, okay, let's take our previous scenarios. We used to be take with the help of the built-in stages. As an example, we are taking with the navigate stage. Okay, if I'm taking with the navigate stage, so what exactly this navigate stage is doing? Whenever you are working with the Blue Prism, in case if you want to be get open any application, right? If you want to be open any application, or if you want to be close application, or to perform the click activity, we are taking with the help of the navigate stage. Now these are all the built-in options, right? Once we are taking with the help of the navigate stage, by default we will be getting an access for these actions here. In a similar manner, by default we don't have any of the built-in action mentioning that mouse over. Okay, while working with the Blue Prism, by default we don't have any built-in action mentioning that mouse over. Okay, so because of that reason, how we are handling with the mouse over is, to get handled with the mouse over, we are taking with the some built-in option that we will be taking with the option is start, drag, and which it will be taking with the drop. Okay, so we are taking with the option is start, drag, and which it will be taking with the drop. That means whatever the cursor is there, okay, whatever the mouse cursor is there, our mouse cursor need to be dragged to that element, and we need to be drop that element here. Okay, as we don't have any built-in action directly, so for that particular purpose, we are taking with the help of the some of the actions which is mentioning as a drag and drop. So whatever our mouse cursor is there, we are dragging with the mouse cursor. Okay, so we are dragging with the mouse cursor, and which it will be taking with the drop activity. Now, to get implemented this drag and drop, so here if I'm taking with the manual activity, whatever our cursor is there, we need to be drag with the cursor to this PIM. That means we need to be get identify this PIM. Okay, now let's look into that, how we can perform that activity. We need to be identify that PIM. Generally, till now, to get identify any element, okay, to get identify any element, we have been taken with the help of the HTML mode. If I'm taking with the HTML mode, which it has been used to get work with the web-based applications here. Okay, to get work with the web-based applications, it will be taking with the help of the HTML mode. In a similar manner, it will be having with the Win32 mode. Okay, it is related to the Windows applications, and after that it will be taking with the region mode, and then it will be taking with the help of accessibility mode. Okay, so if I'm taking with the accessibility mode, it has been used related to any application, and which it will be taking with the region mode. If I'm taking region mode also, it is mentioning that any application. Okay, mentioning that any application in a form of image. Okay. If I'm taking with the region mode, it will be mentioning that any application but in a format of image. Now what we are doing is, whatever the object we have been required, we are getting identifying the object with the help of the region mode. The reason we are taking with the help of the region mode is, whenever I'm taking with the HTML mode and getting identifying with the element of this PIM, we are not getting an access for the option of the drag and drop. For the purpose of getting an access for the drag and drop option, okay, for the purpose of getting in a drag and drop option, we are taking with the help of the region mode. Okay, right. Now we can see how we can perform that. Let me take with the same thing here. So the same I'll be taking with the save as. Okay, which I will be taking with the mouse over. Okay, click on the next and then finish. Right. Now we're done with the login. We are waiting it. Now here we doesn't require this add button, right? It doesn't require with the add button. Removing it, read, remove it. Okay. Now once we done with the login, now we need to be get implemented mouse over. So to get implemented mouse over, first we need to be get identify this object that we will be taking application modular. Okay, let me take with the logout, close it. We are taking with the launch activity. It will get opening with the browser. Then you will be taking with the login here, which you will be taking with the login. Once you done with the login, okay. So once you have been done with the login, right? Now I will be taking add element. Okay. Now let's get identify this element. Now we need to be move the cursor to the PIM, right? Which I will be taking with the PIM. Let's get identifying it. It is getting identifying the HTML mode only. But whenever you are working with the HTML mode, you will not be getting an access for the drag and drop option here. For that particular purpose, getting identified this element with the help of the region mode. Now we can see here, I will be taking region mode. So if I'm taking with the region mode, if we remember previously already we discussed, whenever we are working with the region mode, we cannot take with the spy of the particular element, right? We cannot take with the spy of the particular element. We need to be take with the whole screen. Whatever the whole page is there, nothing but whatever the whole screen is there, it will be taking with the snap of the whole screen. That it will be mentioning control left click. Okay, once you are taking with the control left click, it will be taking with the snap of the whole screen here. Once it was taking with the snap of the whole screen, from there it will be getting identifying with the particular elements here. Okay, now here we need to be take with the particular element. It will be taking a region. Now first we need to be move the cursor to this PIM, right? We need to be get identify this PIM. We need to be very careful while working this region mode. Okay, right. Now we can see here, this is the PIM menu, right? Mentioning that PIM underscore menu. Okay, apply. And after that, we need to be click on this add employee. Then again, let's take with the add employee also. So taking with the add employee here, taking with the cursor with add employee. Okay, let's get implemented, taking with the add employee. We need to be very careful while working these things here. Okay, now this is I will be mentioning it, which you will be taking add employee here. Now mentioning that add employee underscore submenu. Now click on apply here. Okay, so here to take with the mouse over, we need to be perform the drag and drop activities. So to perform the drag and drop activities, to get an access for those actions, we are taking with the help of the region mode. With the help of the region mode, we are getting spying that particular elements. Okay, now we can click on OK, apply. Okay, right. Now we can see here, I'm taking logout, getting closing it. Now I will be taking with the navigate. I'm taking with the navigate stage only, which I'm taking navigate. Perform double click on it, mentioning that mouse over. Now where we have to be implemented mouse over, PIM menu, right? It will be taking PIM menu. Okay, which you will be taking with the PIM menu. Then you will be taking with the option is start a drag. And after that, I'm taking with the add button. Then it has to be take with the drop activity, right? Which you will be taking with the drop, which you will be taking with the drop here. One you will be taking with the start drag, and which it will be taking with the drop here. Now click on OK. By this, it will perform mouse over to see that whether it has been done. It will be taking with the waiting time. And after that, we need to be take with the click activity. So to perform the click activity also, you will be taking with the navigate stage, which it will be mentioning that click underscore add employee. Already we done that submenu, right? It will be taking with the highlight of that. Now it will be taking click center. This is the common activity, taking click center only. Again, it will take some time to load in a page, right? Which you will be taking with the waiting time here. Okay. Now we can see here how exactly we can take connectivity. Once login has been done, taking with the mouse over and waiting it, and taking with the add employee, and then taking with the waiting it and taking with the logout. Now it will be taking with the reset, and which it will be taking run activity. Okay. Now we can see here I'm taking with the run. Now whenever I'm taking with the run activity, once your login has been done, you can see here your mouse cursor will be taking with the drag to the PIM. Now it's need to be take with the drag to the PIM. Then it's need to be give the respective option. Now it's need to be click on add employee. So it's getting clicking on the add employee here. So this is what which it will be taking with the mouse over activities here. Okay. Now it's need to be take with the logout. Not done logout. Read underscore text box. Where we given read underscore text box. Okay. So your add employee is okay. Mouse over, and after that, this is add employee submenu. Okay. Then taking wait, and this is logout, right? Option logout only. Let me try once again. Now we can see here. It's need to be take with the mouse over now. Now it will be taking with the add employee. Okay, taking with the logout and close application. Okay, so this is what which it will be taking with the mouse over activities here. Okay, so don't get confused here. The concept is whenever we are working with the Blue Prism, if you want to be implement with the mouse over activities. Okay, so to get implemented with the mouse over activities directly, we don't have the option. Okay, so directly we don't have the option of any built-in action. For that particular purpose, we are taking with the help of the drag and drop here. As we are working with the drag and we don't have the option to get work with the drag and drop. I mean, to get an access for the drag and drop, it will be taking with the help of the region mode. Okay, we are able to get identify HTML mode also, but if I'm taking HTML mode, we cannot take with the option of drag and drop. For the purpose of getting an access of these two things, it will be taking with the help of the region mode. Now, whenever we are taking with the region mode, we are working with the image, right? We have been spied that particular element with the help of the image. That means first we are taking with the whole screen, and from that image we are taking with the sub elements here. So these kind of techniques, okay, so these kind of techniques which it will be considering as a surface automation. Sometimes in interviews they'll be asking in a question, what exactly mean by this surface automation? In a simple concept we can get understand on it whenever we are working with the region mode. Okay, whenever we are working this region mode, as we are working with the images, that we will be mentioning that we are getting working with the surface automation. And if I'm taking with the interview purpose, in a interviews related to the surface automation, okay, in interviews related to the surface automation, it will be getting with the two things here, okay, which I will be getting with the two things here. One, it will be mentioning the thin client here, okay, one I will be mentioning that thin client, and one I will be mentioning that thicker client here. Okay, so if I'm taking with the surface automation, related to the surface automation, it will be getting with the two things. One, it will be taking with the thin client, and one, it will be taking thicker client. What exactly mean by this? It's a simple concept. If I'm taking thicker client, Blue Prism and application, okay, Blue Prism and application, both are installed, okay, both are installed in same system. Okay, if I'm taking with the thicker client, it will be mentioning that Blue Prism and application both are installed in same system here. If I'm taking with the thin client means it will be mentioning that Blue Prism installed in local system and application installed, okay, installed in remote. Okay, I will be saying that a remote system, or we can say that Citrix. Okay, so the concept is, assume that for example, for now if I'm taking my system, now the system is considering as a thicker client here, because in my system Blue Prism is available at the same time which it will be having with the application also is got installed in the same system. Whenever you are working with the real-time scenarios, first you will be getting opening your application. In our application, you will open the browser and you will take client application URL, it will not open because of the security reason, they will not be giving an access. So if you want to access the client application, what you will be doing from your local system, you will be connecting to the remote system, or with the help of the Citrix software, you will be connecting to the client virtual machine, and then in that machine you will be getting opening with the application. In that kind of scenarios, Blue Prism is available in our local system, but the application is available in the remote system. So that concept you will be taking with the thin client here. Whenever you are working with the thicker client, identifying the elements will be very easy because both are available in same system. But if I'm taking with the thin client, identifying with the objects will be the issues here, because application is available in one system and Blue Prism got installed in another system. Most of the time we will be facing with the issues here. For that particular purpose, you will be taking with the help of the region mode. with the help of the region mode, we used to be able to get identify the particular elements here. So that is how the surface automation has been came into the picture. Okay, in interviews, or generally the people will be mentioning with the lot of things related to the surface automation. In a simple manner, you can get understand on it. Whenever you are working with the region mode, we are identifying with the elements with the help of the images. That concept you will be considering as a surface automation. While working with the surface automation, you will be getting with the two things. One you will be taking with the thin client, and one you will be taking thick client here. So thin client mentioning the tool installed in local system and application is available in a remote system. Thick client mentioning that tool installed in the same system and application also installed in the same system. Okay, right. So now if we take our scenarios, we are understanding about text boxes, buttons, and then mouse over. In a similar manner, we need to be get understand about with the drop down, and we need to be understand about with the check boxes here. Okay. So tomorrow we'll be discussing about with the drop down, and which we'll be discussing about with the check boxes here. Okay. Tomorrow you will be available for the regular timings. If you are available for tomorrow, we can have the session tomorrow also. So you are available for tomorrow also, right? Okay. Okay then. So we'll meet you tomorrow. So tomorrow also we'll be taking with the session. We'll meet you tomorrow, and then we'll continue the activities of drop down and check boxes. Okay. Right. Thank you guys. Thanks everyone.